Hello, welcome. Welcome to another Restoring Refugee, a special Refugee Matters series leading up to World Refugee Day, which will be, of course, next month, June 20th, 2021, of course. As you guys remember, last week we were able to highlight the plight of AAPI refugees. And, of course, every Wednesday at this time, we're going to continue doing this Refugee Matters series which is dedicated to uplifting the voices of the most vulnerable individuals that are often unheard, including the LGBTQ refugee communities, unaccompanied minors, Black refugees, stateless people, and asylums and asylum seekers. So please, make sure you continue to tune in and join us as we spotlight the refugees and asylum leaders and their stories, and honestly, their lived experiences as the most underrepresented refugee groups that are out there. So, for this week's segment, I'm really excited about this one, this segment of Refugee Matters. We're actually going to be highlighting the experiences of asylees and asylum seekers. We're going to learn their stories and find out how, we and you all can engage with refugee leaders across the nation to uplift the stories and be a better advocate. So, you may be watching this from our We All America Facebook page or our Twitter page. So please make sure you share. Invite your families, your friends, your colleagues, and everybody else. So yeah, as my name is Kaya Bashir, and I continue to be honored to moderate this space yet again. And I'm joined by our esteemed guests that will be highlighting their stories of asylees and as asylees and asylum seekers. And we have Brother Ali, who is an advocate for Arab asylum seekers. We have Brother Ahmed Abbas, Asylum Seekers Assistance Program Manager. And then we have Camila Rojas, Florida Immigrants Coalition South Florida Organizer and Refugee Congress Florida Delegate. And then Brother Bilal, with Welcome Dignity Campaigns Communication Director. So, as we all know, change is, slow and always has been. But I'm a core believer that, by sharing our stories and telling people who we are and why we're here makes a big difference. So thank you all for joining me. And if you guys can briefly introduce yourselves and tell the viewers who you are and why you're here and what you do, So maybe Brother Ali, I'll pass it off to you first. And yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Kayo. I'm really pleased and honored to be here to speak about the asylum and the asylum seekers processing and the struggles. My name is Ali Al-Nuaimi. I am from Iraq. I've been here in the United States since 2014. I am a former asylee, and I'm honored to be named about this. And I'm now a citizen of this great country. I live in Carmel, Indiana. I've been in Carmel, Indiana for now 6 years, and I work as a system administrator in United Health Group. This is my career as an IT, and I am representing the Arab asylum seekers here in this seminar to speak about the asylum process and what's going on behind the scene and how we can achieve some goals and remove the obstacles from these piece of community in our society.
Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. Ahmed, maybe I'll pass it off to you next.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kayo. My name is Ahmed Abbas. I am from Egypt, an asylum seeker. I was one of the leaders of the Egyptian revolution, also known as the Arab Spring. So I had to leave the country by definition. And I went through several places in the world. And then I ended up filing for asylum here in the United States. I was in LA first when we came from Mexico. I entered with a visit visa. I had a visa to the States, and then my family and myself applied for asylum end of 2013. Since then, our asylum has not been granted. We had an interview. I said we applied 2013. We had an interview 2017, and they said they will give us 2 weeks to answer our asylum. And the 2 weeks are now 4 years, and we are waiting. And the system is a bit slow, it's backlogged, so many cases. And because I have been going to the system, I was my own lawyer After I have had several lawyers, but then there was no point to have a lawyer for 4 years. And then after I studied some law in Sorbonne University in Paris. And I graduated also the master's degree in finance. So I said, you know what? I'm not just going to get a lawyer. I'm going to figure out the system myself. And because I have been doing this for 7 years now, I am the Asylum Seeker Assistance Program Manager in RST, in Refugee Service Texas, the biggest resettlement nonprofit in Texas, probably in the US. So that's what I do as my job now, to help other asylum seekers figure out the ins and outs and the loopholes of the system. Because as Kai just mentioned, it is the most vulnerable population, because they have no benefits. We have no benefits at all. We don't have food stamps. We're not eligible for it. We're just eligible to work after 1 year.
And we're gonna get into the whole details of those too. So I'm really excited to be able to ask you those questions and what we can do. So I'm really excited to even hear all of that. So maybe Camila, I'll pass it off to you next.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here today with all of you. My name is Camila, pronouns she, hers, ella. I'm originally from Venezuela. My family migrated when I was 14 years old because my mom was very involved politically in the opposition back at home. We decided to pack our lives into 2 bags and leave everything behind and come to a safer place here in Florida, in South Florida, when I currently reside. I started organizing in high school when I was 14 years old with Know Your Rights clinics in my community and with different supports. As an asylum seeker myself, I didn't know many of the different systems in the United States, and I found my way trying to navigate through these systems and how to support my family, who at the time didn't know how to speak English and didn't have any resources. So through organizing and through nonprofit organizations and through community support, I was able to find a family, and I was able to also support other people like myself who were trying to navigate this new country that they just came in. And I'm very excited to be here today. And now I'm the South Florida organizer, and I'm the Refugee Congress delegate for the for Florida.
Said that all with a smile. I appreciate that. And then I'll pass it off to you, Bilal.
Thank you so much, Kayo. I want to just first say how honored I am to be here in today's panel with Camila, with Ali, with Ahmed. Your stories are they renew my inspiration for what asylum seekers, refugees, everyone, undocumented people in the United States are doing in the United States, and the perseverance that we have. So my name is Bilal Askaryar. My pronouns are he, him, his. I previously worked for Church World Service for about 4 years, doing communications for refugee resettlement, and now I recently joined the Welcome with Dignity campaign, which is the first national campaign that focuses specifically on asylum rights and reimagining what asylum can look like in the United States. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about being here today is because when I was 5 years old, my family and I came to the United States fleeing the war from Afghanistan, and were granted asylum, luckily. So I'm happy to be here and look forward to talking with you and Kayo and everyone else.
Yeah, I think for a moment I felt like we were leading a United Nations meeting. We have people, we're representing Venezuela, Egypt, Afghanistan, Egypt. That's beautiful. I really appreciate you guys being vulnerable and sharing your stories. Again, as all you guys highlighted, you guys being some of the most vulnerable groups, but then also coming here and having to navigate many of these spaces by yourselves, and having to navigate them with minimum support. So I'm really, and as Bilal mentioned, I'm really excited that I really want to give a huge shout out to you all for your perseverance, and I promise it's not going unnoticed. You guys are paving the way and are pioneers for many other people as advocates, and I'm really excited to see what we can do collectively. So I'm really curious. The word asylum seekers is thrown out everywhere. It's mixed with the word refugees and immigrants. for all of us that are out there, maybe Ali, I'll pass it off to you. What does it mean? What is Asylee and Asylum Seekers? What does that even mean? What does that process look like?
Yes, the most, or the I would say the crucial difference between refugees and asylees is the I would say the principle of asking for an asylum. We can say refugees on the people who are asking to escape. I mean to come. For example, let's say United States, the country is accepting the people outside the United States who are asking for to be like an asylum, and they are living outside the United States, they can call themselves refugees, which is based on a humanitarian thing. That means they are based and work and lived outside United States. The word asylees is representing the people who are actually inside United States and they are asking for an asylum. This asylum is based on political issues. That means they are afraid from being kidnapped or tortured or I would say killed by based on their political opinions, based on their work, based on their beliefs. For example, I'm a former asylee, and I was being afraid from example being kidnapped by people who believe in sectarian war or civil war back in Iraq. So I came here to the United States and then asked for asylum. That means I came here legally as a visitor, as a student, whatever you can call it. But you entered this country legally, and then you ask the government of the United States that protect you from the harm that could happen to you in the future. So the main difference between refugees and asylees that some people are asking for help, but they are not in the country, in the safe country, for example, the United States, and they are, for example, living in Turkey or living in Jordan, and they're not from Jordan. They are from other countries, but they choose Jordan as a going point to United States. Those people are calling themselves refugees, but the people who inside the United States and asking the government of the United States to protect them, they can call them the asylees. That's the main reason. The main difference between refugees and asylees.
Yeah, I appreciate that very lengthy response. That makes sense. I think overall, it looks like the difference between asylees and refugees is largely, I guess, procedural, where a person who requests asylum in the United States is called an asylee. A person who requests protection while still overseas is considered a refugee.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Yeah. So just wanted to make sure that we clarified all those definitions, and then maybe why don't we come back to the ground and can you tell us a little bit about the work you do with Asylum Seekers, Brother Ahmed, in Texas, and maybe the lack of support. And I know you talked a lot about the backlog and you having to represent yourself as a lawyer in many of these cases and navigating this world by yourself. Maybe if you can take about a minute and a half, just kind of share that with us.
I started working in Refugee Service Texas, RST, not in the Asylum Seekers program because there was no asylum program. There was a refugee program. That's where I used to work. And I was helping, exactly as Brother Ali explained, refugees are the ones who file for the protection of the U.S. before they come to the U.S. And that wasn't accepted, and it's a big program, and the United States receives refugees from all over the world. But there was so much more asylum seekers, people going to the gates or coming to the U.S. that filed for asylum, and their asylum is not granted. So once the asylum is granted, they're exactly in the same status as refugees. They are entitled to benefits, food stamps, medical insurance, everything. They are eligible for everything. But before they are granted the asylum, they are called asylum seekers. So all of those people, they are not eligible for any kind of benefit at all. Like I said, no food stamps, nothing, not even medical insurance. So if one of them comes here and gets hit by a car, has a stomach ache, has a kidney stone, his foot got broken, God forbid, they must go to the hospital and pay for it. And I have no Idea from where? Because they don't even have the right to work for the first year. It was for 6 months only, and then for the last administration made it a whole year. How and why, I don't know. And then remains the million-dollar question: what do they do in this year? How are they going to live? Under the table, work under the table? Do you want that to happen? Are you pushing for that to happen? So again, we decided at RST to make a program just for those people who have no means to live. So first, it started with donations. I would go speak here and speak there, and in venues just like yours. Thank you very much for doing this. To gather donations, whether in cash or in furniture or in food or anything we can, even cars. Some people donated their automobiles or their second automobile that we gave to families that we serve, to asylum seeker families. Until finally, EMM, one of the 9 national immigration organizations in the US, decided to fund our program, RST. And then they made, now our program, the Asylum Seekers Assistance Program, the ASAP, is funded by the government to give help to all those families who come and file for asylum and don't have a means to live. That's it in a nutshell.
You know, this what I really appreciate about this space that we have, you know, is a space to highlight and, you know, spotlight the most vulnerable. And I think what you just described, you know, as an asylum seeker yourself, where there's just no, you know, there's no resources, there's no avenues to advocate for yourself, and unless you step up and do it yourself. And you know, you mentioned going out and fundraising and speaking at different event spaces. There's just not a lot of focus to this vulnerable population. So, you know, it's very unfortunate, and I'm really excited that we have this space to share this. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this, but you know, I really appreciate you for sharing that. And I think maybe we can pass it off to Bilal to, you know, just tell us a little bit about the experiences with asylees and asylum seekers, and you know, some of the barriers that they face currently.
Thank you, Kayo. Yes, so I think we've heard that asylum seekers, people seeking protection in the United States, face a lot of challenges once they're here in the United States and their cases are being reviewed. But, you know, we can think of, it's difficult to say this, but we can even think of them as the lucky people who made it through into the United States. When we go to the border, when we go to different places where people are entering the United States, there are so many barriers that the government has put into place between a person seeking protection and asylum. So what happens, for example, if you are from Central America, if you're from Guatemala, if you are from Nicaragua, and you are fleeing danger, and you come to the United States border, and you say, I'm in danger where I come from, I need help, I'm at your doorstep, at the doorstep of the United States, and I need help. Legally, that person should be allowed in and should go through the process of asylum. But over the past decades, that process has become more and more difficult. For example, most recently, because of the coronavirus pandemic, the CDC put into place a piece of legislation or use an authority called Title 42 that prohibits anyone from entering the United States. They've also done things called metering, where they say, sorry, we've already had 10 people claiming asylum in the United States today at the border in San Diego, so you need to come back tomorrow. And what does that mean when you tell someone that's in danger, you need to come back tomorrow? It means they don't have a place to live. It means they don't know anyone. They might not speak the language. They might be in danger of getting robbed or kidnapped. We see this with trans asylum seekers or LGBT asylum seekers. They are in danger in these different places where there is insecurity. And so all of these reasons are extra levels of danger that people have to face when all they're trying to do is seek help from us.
I don't even know how to summarize that, Bilal. I really appreciate you for highlighting all of that, just because of, again, lack of knowledge, lack of funding, lack of highlighting this vulnerable population. So yeah, I really appreciate you for sharing that. And I think maybe Ali will be able to kind of in a way summarize it for us in a sense about um, you know how this population again is overlooked, underrepresented, and maybe what people that are looking are viewing us today, or all of us from the outside, what we can do better to support this group, so where these individuals are not doing it themselves. A lot of organizations have financial capacity, organizing capacity, they have a lot of capacity, but again, this is a population that's not being talked about. Maybe Ali, if I could pass it off to you and you just tell us a little bit about what we can do to better support this group.
Yes. So if we compare the asylees to the refugees came to the United States. When they came to this country, they have all the support. They have someone to sponsor them. There's like a lot of organization that can support them. But when you consider yourself as an asylum seeker or an asylee, it's based on you, and you have to, support yourself. You are on your own on this country. So in order for us to help these kind of people who sometimes they feel they are lonely, to fight like the life, and to start and like from scratch, from zero, because I have lived this by myself. So in order to support these people, we can do two things. I believe we can do local integration, and we can do positive integration. The local integration can be done by advising the people of how they can, let's say, follow the laws and follow the policies, how they can like track what they can track through their work, through their cases, how they can reach out to their I would say the politicians, the officials too, like just to make their voice heard. This is about the local integration, and about the positive resettlement. I can talk about two things, which is some people actually, let's say, feel like they are introvert. They have some, let's say, language barriers. So we need to reach out to those people, and they need actually to help us by reaching to the communities, to the asylum communities, through Facebook, through Google, so they can help themselves like in a better way. I would say we can raise like an awareness campaign for asylum seeker. Hey, this is an organization who can help these kind of people, the people who lived the same experience, and they can provide you with any help that you need, with any answer for any question. The asylum seekers, actually, it's on. I would say again, it's only on you, and you have actually to figure out what kind of decision by the end of the day you need to take. And because you are new to this country, you don't know how to help yourself. So we can help them by letting them that we are here, we are exist, and we can provide any help that they want.
I really appreciate you for summarizing all of that for us. And I really want to hear from you, Camila. What brought you here today, to hang out with us here in the United Nations, and why is it important for us to share our stories? It feels like many times that's all we have. We may not be financially equipped, we may not be the most well-resourced or well-funded groups, but we have our voices. So just tell us a little bit about why we should continue sharing our stories.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say I'm here today for my community. I'm here today for my family. I'm here today for myself, to advocate for asylum seekers across the country, including the border, to be here standing in community, and to also celebrate World Refugee Day, and celebrate all of our achievements, and celebrate all that we have accomplished with so little resources that we have had, and how far as a community we have gone. I'm very proud of us. I'm very proud of this panel, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done so far. and the work that we'll continue to do. It is important for us to share our stories because there's so many of us out there that feel alone, that come to this country and feel like they don't know the language, they don't have their families, they don't have a community. And once they tune into that event, once they hear that asylum seekers sharing their stories, coming out of their shadows and having no shame. I remember when I first came into this country, I was very ashamed about my accent. I was very embarrassed about my English. I would try not to speak or speak a little as possible. And because of that, a lot of folks around me didn't know my story, didn't know who I was. And because of that, I myself felt a little bit insecure of not having any status, insecure of not having of being an asylee or not even being an asylee because my case hadn't even been heard yet. So we're hearing somebody share their story one time and hearing the power that they had when they shared the story, when they shared what they were going through, and I could relate myself to them. So I remember feeling that way, and that's something I try to do every time I share my story. Try to remember that there's people out there that they might be insecure about their own stories, but just hearing my story, just hearing me say my truth might make them feel more okay with themselves and the situation that they're in. Our stories are very powerful. It's the way that our people for generations have shared knowledge, have shared traditions. It's the way that we continue to call out our legislators that might not support our community. It's the way that we stand strong. It's like y'all mentioned, it's all we have in some instances. And I'm very grateful to be here and have this platform to share my story now.
Yeah, Camila, I think that was definitely, as this new generation calls it, a mic drop. As sharing our stories, and again, like you mentioned, being pioneers and telling our stories and how powerful that is, as we've did that, for generations. And but then also you touched on the points about feeling alone, just because again, this is one of those groups that's not focused on, and therefore you feel like you are in your own community, but you're the only individual in that community. So I really appreciate you for spotlighting that and how many people are shy away from that. And there's a tense sense of shameness, but there's nothing to be shamed about. And then going back to language, you may speak a broken English or what have you, but how many people speak multiple languages here? So we got to be proud and take that to heart and go from there. And yeah, I really appreciate you for sharing that. And Bilal, I'll pass it off to you. Actually, in one sentence, what do you want people listening today to take away from this? And then if you can tell us a little bit about some local actions that you guys are doing, and what people can do. And yeah.
Great. Thank you. I want to say I'm so honored to be a part of this panel. Thank you, Kayo, and I'm so glad that you all are here. Ali, Camila, Ahmed, Kayo, thank you so much. If you, the viewers, want to take action and help asylum seekers, people like the people in this panel, and also the people who haven't made it here yet, the number one easiest step you can take is go to welcomewithdignity.org. That's welcomewithdignity.org. We launched our campaign today to completely reimagine how asylum works in the United States. So when we heard Ali and Ahmed and Camila talk about how lonely and isolating it was to be an asylum seeker here in the United States and not have that support, not have even the permission to make your own money and support yourself while your case is being seen, we want to reimagine that system, and we want to say that anyone who comes here asking us for help gets a whole package of help with them and is welcomed and made to feel like, yes, you're here, you belong here. So we launched the campaign today, welcomewithdignity.org. If you go there, you can click on our Take Action tab and sign our pledge. We already have 1,400 signatures today, just since we launched, and we're trying to get to as many as we can so we can take those pledges to Congress, to the White House, to our local communities, and say that Americans, whether they are from asylum-seeking backgrounds, refugees, whoever, say we want to welcome people with dignity. Thank you.
Beautiful, well said. Maybe you as well, Ahmed. Maybe can you just tell us a little bit about, one sentence, what do you want people listening today to take away from this, and how we can make sure that there's not another Ahmed being his own lawyer.
There's so many Ahmeds now. Well, first of all, going back quickly, because there's a very important point that you mentioned, the language barrier. I have been lucky that I have been through Mexico, and I speak French and I speak Spanish and Arabic eventually. So it was kind of relatively easy for me. But one thing in my program that I do, because I have so many people from South America, from Central America, or Latin America, and actually it has now became the route for so many Africans, from Central Africans. They come, cross the water to Brazil, and then walk from Brazil all the way to the southern gates. Walk. Imagine somebody walking from Africa. With so many languages. So the first thing I made in our program, and I stress about, and I put any asylum seeker that I have in English as second language, ESL programs, ESL. Definitely speaking to your congressman and your representative is very important, because they must know where we stand. Donating is good, but in a similar program that I have, and the one I have, I gather volunteers to do the very simple things to those asylum seekers. The very simple things. Take food to them weekly. Anything you can spare. Just many volunteers come, and they are assigned to one family or two, whatever they can. 1 day per week, they just go deliver them food to the doorstep. And if you can more, teach them English. You can. It's not that difficult. Start always by the little things. Don't complicate it. Take one family at a time. Take one person, take one kid at a time. And you'll make a difference. Thank you.
Exactly. Before you walk 1,000 miles, you got to take that first step. So, yeah, I really appreciate you for sharing that as well. And, Camila, maybe if you can answer the same question, and then, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I agree with what has said. Get involved, whether it's locally, whether it's even on your phone, just finding out like your local organizations and donating is also a great way to like getting involved. I became involved helping fellow asylees become citizens once they were approved to become citizens, and just helping them fill out those applications because they couldn't afford a lawyer. So just get involved in any way that you can. Us here in South Florida, for any of these people watching that might be part of South Florida, we're working on a welcoming initiative ordinance here for the Broward County, which is a county in the north of Miami. And we're trying to get the county to approve this welcoming cities ordinance to declare our county a welcoming city and welcoming county for all immigrants, including refugees and asylees, and to dedicate some funding to support refugees and asylees that have just come to the United States and that need support. And we're really working hard to do this. So if you want to get involved, definitely let us know in the comments down below, because it'll be great, not just for South Florida. This is something that we can expand to other counties across the country, because we believe that every county in our country should be a welcoming place for all immigrants.
Beautiful. Ali, you want to close this off?
Yes, I would like to add some points for all the asylum seekers, for the asylees. I mean, take the courage. Go to Google, search what you need from Google, find the communities over Facebook. Don't afraid of being the English is your second language. We didn't born with many language. Everybody of us who's like an asylee, born with his native tongue. So take an English as a second language. That's a huge step. You should be proud of yourself. Don't afraid from talking to people. They will understand you eventually. Obey the law, pay your taxes, be a good citizen, be a good Samaritan. That's the way that will, I would say, it might I would say make the process of your asylum case go much quicker. Try to reach to your elected officials, speak to them if you can. Send them emails or letters. Tell them that I'm an asylee. I'm struggling. I need some help. Can you point me? Can you just make an inquiry to the USCIS? I have a case under process for a long time. I need your help. You can ask for help, and we are here to help. So don't afraid from asking. Don't afraid from asking. Because we don't know who is seeking an asylum here, so you have to show me yourself so I can help you. I really need you to speak to us so we can help you all.
Yeah, I think that's both well said, especially those last 2 points. As the federal administrations is dragging their feet, there's so much things we can do locally. So I really appreciate you both for sharing those very simple tasks that we can do as individuals. So I just want to make sure that you guys remember it's hard to fully understand a moment in history when we're in it, but we are making history by continuing to be the fierce advocates that you guys are, and empowering more leaders with those lived experiences into this work. And I think that's a very great start. So Camila, Ahmed, Bilal, Ali, thank you very much for joining me. And for those that are watching, please sign those pledges. Support any way you can. We need more advocates. We need more organizations. We need more lawyers and into these spaces to support these communities. So, and then in general, there are many misconceptions, regarding refugees and asylum seekers. And, we're taking this back, as this World Refugee Day. Let's reclaim our narratives and make our voices heard. So remember to continue joining us on Facebook Live every Wednesday as we welcome powerful speakers like these four. And as you've seen, it feels like a United Nation space, and bringing in different perspectives. So our next series will be spotlighting the LGBTQ plus refugees. And then lastly, don't forget to follow our partners on social media and set a reminder on your phone for every Wednesday at this time to check us out online. And please share this even after it ends with your networks. And finally, welcome to Dignity campaign and getting involved. And yeah, I really want to thank all of you guys, speakers, everybody who joined, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.